if nobody has any questions about how this has been set up, so the worksheets I sent you about engagement plans and levels, I think it's really important for you as an admin to know how nonprofits work. So we went over this a few weeks ago. Not everybody was there, but moves management. So that means we're moving somebody through a donor continuum. Perhaps they've come to an event, a campaign, and then they're a volunteer of some sort. And when they volunteer, then they get a certain number of hours, and then they become potential to donate, or you put them at different levels. And that's what we're going to go over is levels and engagement plans. But I want you to be able to build it yourself. And so the first thing that you want to talk through when you're looking at or you're working with your nonprofit is getting them in their point of view. What does a bronze level donor look like, silver, gold, and platinum? And obviously, depending on your organization, you can give these cuter names, right? It doesn't have to be bronze, silver, gold, platinum, but that's what I like to start out with. And then if you want to end up naming them Luminary Society, or, name the society after one of your large donors who's passed away, or something to do with your cause, like, green space. An environmental nonprofit might come up with some things that have to do with the environment. We did, when I worked at a organization that helped people get eyeglasses, eye surgeries, and hearing aids, we had our visionaries and our luminaries, and tried to play off vision. So that's just something to keep in mind when we build the levels in Salesforce. You can do that. But for now, I think when you're talking to your development officers, you can explain this is a good way to start. So when somebody gives at $250 for the year or in their lifetime, you can assign tasks to a certain person to associate with that giving level. So what I would do is, what do those giving levels look like for us? Like, what's significant? And I would say at a $2 million to $4 million budget nonprofit, that's going to look like this: 250, 500, 1,000, 2,500. When you get into a bigger nonprofit, this platinum might be 50,000. Now, I made this into a Word document to see if I could type on it. Yours is a PDF, so if you just have a notepad, you can write it down and just use it as a reference if you haven't printed it out. But I would print it out, and feel free to. So does anybody have an example of a nonprofit that they're working with that they can kind of identify these levels based on what they know about the organization they're already working with?
I can for a past job, but if somebody's got one more recently, go ahead.
Well, past job works.
Yeah, so on the most basic level, it would probably be like bronze, $60 one-time gift per year. Silver, double it to $120. Gold is kind of a tough one because we're starting to get really close to our major donors group, which would be totally different. So like there, does it work in this idea to put a range for gold, like 120 all the way up to 500 or something, or 120 all the way up to 1,000?
Right.
And platinum, I'd probably reserve for those major donors around the $1,000 to $10,000 mark for a one-time gift. So where I got a little confused because of the nuances of what I learned working at that nonprofit for 4 years is we started to get into analysis, and just stop me if this is too complex for this purpose today, but like we were starting to get into the analysis of, if they're giving $5 a month, we want to treat them differently than $60 per year, even though mathematically they're the same. It's just that we learned things about those monthly givers, that they were very consistent. They'd stick with us 25 years. You know, there was some really interesting analytics going on those people to realize how committed they were to our mission compared to the once a year guy. And likewise, when you get up into the gold level, it gets a little hairy between the $500 and $1,000 bucket, because you want to be kind of maybe forming that relationship. They might have that potential to become a major donor in the next 10 years. And we have analytics of 50 years worth of data to know that there's high potential, that if they've given us $500 once, there's a really good chance we should be forming a relationship to get them above 1,000 someday. So I'm just a little confused whether we should have a very singular number here or buckets.
I mean, it's once we get into that, let's talk through what different buckets can be, because you can create multiple buckets. So we're gonna do some of that.
Cool.
So I think to start, this is the simplest bucket, right?
Yeah,
This is
60,
the simplest way,
60,
especially
120,
for
40, and then like 1,000.
right. And especially for a nonprofit that might not, let's see if it'll let me type on this side. Yeah, it's being weird. Especially for a nonprofit that hasn't thought through these things and doesn't have a giving strategy, and that they're just starting out. This is a good place to start. Like, how do we want to cultivate these donors? And what it relates to in Salesforce, as we discussed a few weeks ago, are tasks for individuals, and usually for development officers, but you could make it for a volunteer coordinator to make a call to see if they want to volunteer and that sort of thing. So that's why I have these suggestions here as well. So when you're going through and trying to meet with the nonprofits some of you are volunteering with and some of you work for, and you're trying to implement this, it's good to come in with some ideas, I've found, because it's like pulling teeth sometimes to get them to understand what you're going for. And unless you have something kind of concrete, you might talk in circles a little too much. And so we're just going for one thing here, and then we can implement it, and then we'll go to the more complex levels. And to Justin's point, recurring donation analytics and how we treat those people, and what that looks like. So this exercise is for creating levels and engagement plans. So I want you to go ahead and decide and write down on a piece of paper what your bronze, silver, gold, and platinum are going to look like. And then look at this sheet and decide what you want to do at each of these levels. So pick 3 that you want to do at each of these levels. And this will be out a number of days. So if you say when they hit the $250 donated this year mark, 5 days from then, they are going to get a handwritten note. So I would put 5B next to this one. So just think through that, and then we'll go ahead and jump into Salesforce. I don't want to take too much time on this, but I think it's really important as consultants that we understand that we have to talk through our stakeholders kind of through the conceptual things surrounding engagement plans and levels, which just to review for the people who weren't there 2 or 3 weeks ago, engagement plans give tasks to different individuals, and you can manually put somebody in an engagement plan. So if I wanted to engage a donor or volunteer at 10 days after I put them in the engagement plan, and I wanted to give them a call in 10 days, and then in 20 days, I wanted to send them an email, and 45 days, I wanted to get a another volunteer to call them and try to recruit them. Then when I do that, it creates tasks for the users in our organization. And those tasks then would be on their dashboard when they open up Salesforce in the morning, which hopefully they're doing every morning, but you could also send them a report on a daily basis to show them their tasks that they have to go through. This just kind of it automates that cultivation process, because in any job, especially if you're a nonprofit, you wear a lot of hats, and they might be dropping the ball on this. And to be able to get the strategy in a very structured way will ultimately help the bottom line of the nonprofit, and therefore justify your existence as the Salesforce admin in their system, that they're not just using for a Rolodex. This is actually helping them move somebody down a continuum, which this does not exist outside of Nonprofit Success Pack. This is special to Nonprofit Success Pack. Obviously, you could build something similar if you wanted to. I'm going to show you. Okay, what?
I wanted to just add two thoughts and ask a question. First, I just want to second your idea of when you present a framework already and give them something to react to rather than asking them to try to imagine what it would be like. I found that's very true. And just in terms of where levels and engagement plans fit in the sort of life cycle of helping a nonprofit with the NPSP, personally, I haven't gotten there with anyone yet, because the data cleanup and donor segmentation and donation coding issues, have so far, in my experience, taken up all the time and take literally years, given everything else that the people are, doing in their jobs, that, I'm curious to know, in your experience, when is a nonprofit really ready to engage in engagement plans?
I think those are two separate activities. So I think it's really good to sit down and do this, because you'll see in the next 40 minutes, we're going to put this together. So we're just, even if you take the template that I used, which if you're not working with a nonprofit, or you just don't feel creative right now, you can use that Excel file that I sent out that has the example of the levels and engagement planning on the first tab. And you can use this as what we use to set up. So you can see I put the prospect level at $100, bronze at $250, silver 1,000, and then I said at what increments these activities would get assigned to these folks. So I'm not going to do, because we have time constraints, I'm not going to do 20 of these. But I think that you'll see it's pretty easy to set up. So if you can just get them to commit to these 4 things and say, you don't have to use them, but let's just give it a shot. Let's just try and see if this works for you. And if it doesn't, I can disable the functionality and delete it. So I think the answer to your question is no nonprofit ever feels ready to do large strategic planning if they're going to wait till their data is clean. Data is always going to be dirty in every organization, no matter how hard you try. I mean, maybe somebody, maybe you have worked at a place where they've cleaned all the data and it's all neat, but for the most part, that's going to be very difficult. People are moving. There's always something. There's always reasons why we exist as data people. So this is just a way to use the system more like a CRM, more like a custom relationship management system, rather than um, rather than the typical Rolodex. Let's get a direct mail out. Let's get an email list out. Let's do it to, I mean, to Justin's point, some kind of analytics. You could do a report on everybody who's been donating $5 a month. But, you know, if you can structure this and say, I want to do these tasks for all these people, once they've hit 3 months of donating $5 a month, then you have that automated without even having to pull the report or think about it. You have, because they give not on the same day, it's sort of like traffic. If we all left at different times, it's a lot smoother. So if you go to your instance, I'll do it first. You can watch me if you only have one screen, and then I'd give it a shot. So the first thing you have to do before you create the levels that we identify is create those engagement plan templates with the tasks and the number of days. So this doesn't have anything to do with the money, because you could do this and you could automatically you could automatically relate it, or you could manually relate it based on criteria. So I could create an engagement plan for a particular event and enroll certain people, whether that's through data loader or just clicking on all of the different, if I had 15 people that I was inviting to this major donor cultivation event, or 30, and I wanted to click on each 30 records, I could manually engage them in those. What it looks like when it's done is I've made this bronze level, and I've related these tasks. So they get 30 days after, they get a handwritten letter from the executive director. They get a invite to one of our webinars at 45 days, invitation to an open house at 60 days, video thank you from a board member at 90 days, etc. So like I said, I'm only going to do 2. So for this org, I'm going to press, which one is this? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it here. And if you're on Npsp, and you don't see engagement plan templates up here, and I don't think they have it by default, you can click on this nav bar, and that's just a pencil right here, and then click on add more items and engagement, and it won't be on favorites because I haven't favorited anything, but I can check off engagement plan templates and add it to my nav bar. Press save, and I'll start straight from there.
Sarah, a quick newbie question, please. In the philanthropy related list, there is engagement plan task and engagement plan.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the difference? Because where are we putting all the tasks, the thank you and all that? I'm assuming is under engagement plan
Right.
task.
So that's a good question. So the data model, if I press new and I'm creating an engagement plan template, this is basically what my engagement plan would be. So this is actually a visual force page that they've set up. I can name this my bronze engagement plan. I can skip the weekends if those days, I don't want them to count on weekdays. I want it to be business days. I can reschedule it to Monday or Friday. And this template, when you put it on a record and you enroll someone into an engagement plan, you pick the template, that's a required field on the engagement plan. And then a related child object to the engagement plan is the engagement plan tasks. So the template is made up of what you like. Basically, the engagement plan is just the label of the tasks that are associated with it. I believe you can add some tasks manually that aren't on the template after you've enrolled them in the engagement plan. So this is for donors giving $250 this year. And now, without having to go to a separate object or anything, I can, because this is a Visualforce page, I can go ahead and add a task. And it can be this Edie thank you letter. I'm going to assign it to myself. But if you had a development associate or a volunteer coordinator or something like that, and this task applied to them, you can add tasks to different employees at the different intervals. So I'm going to do this actually 7 days after they reach this level. And I'm going to put the default status as not started. I can check off send an email or reminder to remind me to do this task when it's due. And I can add a dependent task. So once this is done and I mark it as completed, then I have to then log note in Salesforce. Actually kind of meta, right? Like I'm programming something in Salesforce to remind me to log it into Salesforce in the first place. And I'll do that 1 day after the parent task is done. And I'll add one more. And like I said, you can use the template I already created if it's just easier, which probably is. And this is
Hey, Sarah?
email. Yes.
Can you assign it to a queue or a profile instead of a person?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. But
Okay.
I don't have any queues set up in this developer org. So if anybody has some set up and you want to test that and let us know, that would be great. Or if somebody wants to Google it right now. I'm going to go ahead and press. Huh?
I know you can assign to other users, but I'm not sure about queues. So I'll be interested. No.
I think assigning a task to a queue came out in not the last release, but the one before that, maybe spring 20.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll take a
So,
note
I
to
mean,
follow up.
maybe I just don't know if there's some kind of lookup filter on that Visualforce page. So that would be what I would test. And maybe in a minute, we'll be able to do that. So now I have my engagement plan. I want to be able to create the automation for this level. And with Nonprofit Success Pack, you do get a certain amount of, let's see if I have any, okay. You do get a certain amount of number fields, and you can use those to put someone automatically into an engagement plan from you establishing a level. But before I get to levels, let me show you how to manually add someone to an engagement plan. So I'm going to press new on this engagement plan related list. And I'm going to pick this one that I just created, the bronze engagement plan. And I can assign it to an account, a contact, campaign, or case. If you'll notice, if I try to assign it to both, it'll give me an error, I believe. Yeah.
Sarah, what would be the use case for assigning it to a campaign?
I think, I'm not sure if it would relate since you do it straight from the account. I'm actually not sure.
In the nonprofit that I work with, for example, they have a campaign called Spring Harvest, which happens every spring. So engagement plans that are created for that campaign, what is done is depending on the level of giving. So when the engagement plan has been created, like we're doing now, we'll put the campaign in it. So when you add a campaign to the engagement plan, depending on that donor's giving or that account or contact, then it kicks off the engagement plan.
Okay, okay. So if I go to, so that's how you manually add the engagement plan. So once I am enrolled in that engagement plan, in 7 days, I will have me as a user, not me as the donor, since I have both my names there. I'll have a task. So if I click on my tasks, instead of, you'll be able to see all, now that I enrolled the Epting household in this engagement plan, I can see the task I have due in 7 days. Oh, I guess I might have done that wrong in terms of the number of days since the last one happened, to log the note into Salesforce and go back and look at that. But I have these tasks now lined up without me having to create them for myself. It'll just be the follow-up reminder. So I think it's a really helpful tool, even if you're not working in a nonprofit. So if you can create similar custom objects to do the same thing with processes and flows, it would probably be a good exercise if you're working at a for-profit to do in a sandbox and then show people. If I then, this is where the levels come in. So levels is an object. If I create a new level and I name it bronze level, then I can associate it with an account with my source field, like I said, any number field. So if I wanted to say total gifts this year at a minimum amount of $250 and a maximum amount of $500 or $499, because I'm going to put them at a different level, then Salesforce in Npsp gives you on the account already a lookup field to this object called level or previous level. So this looks a little different because, again, it's a visual force page, but basically I'm just this is going to be a level record, and I can associate it or not with an engagement plan. So you could manually do these levels as well. But if somebody hits this level, then they will automatically be enrolled in that engagement plan that I just created, and those tasks will automatically be given to the person. So why don't we take 5 minutes, and if you haven't been following along, just give you a chance to create an engagement plan with a couple of tasks, add one of your accounts to the engagement plan, and then create a level.
Sarah, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Well, two actually. One is, I noticed the error message when you tried to add it to both an account and a contact said you could add it to an opportunity, but opportunity didn't seem to be a choice. But my second related question is, and I was asked this question by someone who was thinking of setting this up, you know, what's the advisability of having multiple engagement plans? Maybe one is kicked off by an opportunity and another one is kicked off at the contact level. And so you could potentially be having tasks set, you know, multiple sets of tasks for the same person. You know, what's the best practice there?
I would say don't. Well, it depends on how you're firing it to automatically enroll them in the engagement plan. So if you're firing the opportunity, what?
I think it was just some feedback.
Yeah, if you're firing it from the opportunity creation from a process builder rather than this level facility that Salesforce has, then you could have some kind of I guess some kind of criteria node on the process builder that, or on the action item where you're assigning the plan. You could say, unless this account already has a task labeled, you know, this from another user. But I don't see really the problem. If it's not going to happen a ton, I wouldn't see the problem with somebody having a duplicate task and just checking it off like, oh yeah, I already did that. That would be my first solution, would just be like, how often is this really going to happen? Let's just see. And then if we have to do some mitigation around that, let's do it then, rather than do a whole bunch of programming for something that happens, you know, one time. Because I feel like that's what users do a lot, is you come up with a solution for something and then they throw this outlier scenario that will happen once a year at you, and you could program it, like I said, to have some kind of filter on the action from the process builder to exclude certain types of actions, but it often is really not worth it. Might be a fun exercise as admins for us, but that would be my take. Does anybody else have any suggestions?
I don't have a suggestion, but I just want to make sure I understand that, answer the question that was asked. So like if, and I know, you know, Sarah, you've helped me with engagement plans before. So if I donate $50 and I become like a bronze at bronze level and get that assigned, if I donate another $50, I won't get those same tasks assigned again, right? Like
correct, until you reach the next level.
Okay.
You have a different engagement plan template associated, like your silver one starts at 500. Then if you have other tasks that are associated with that silver engagement plan, those would then repeat.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, just making sure. Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome. Did anybody have any difficulty doing that? Did they the steps to create the engagement plan and then the levels? Have people been able to do that in the 4 or 5 minutes we've been just talking?
Sarah, I ran into an error when I was putting in my level. It says that you must specify different levels for level field and previous level field. Mm-hmm. And it's a, you know, it's a pull down select, and it just says none for each.
Are you using the target as the account or the contact?
I'm using the account.
Okay. Well, one thing you can check is, so when you go to create the level, you're just seeing nothing here, right? And you've selected your target as account, and it's still not showing anything right here.
Let me see what you got. Right. All I have is none.
And you have the target as account and not contact.
Right.
Okay, so what you do in this instance, so if for whatever reason your Npsp didn't come with this, like I said, level is an object. So if you go to the setup gear icon and click on setup, you'll be taken to the setup backend, and we click on object manager. And lightning wheel of death. I'm gonna do a refresh. So basically, Mark, you'll be typing in the object, account, or contact and creating a lookup field called level to, or if you're doing multiple, this is one thing I was going to show y'all. If you want something that's for donation levels, or maybe you want all-time giving level, this year level, previous year level, I mean, you could create as many lookup relationships as you wanted to that level object, so that you can create lots of different types of levels. So because they're associated with all those numbers, I could create a volunteer level on the contact object. And when I do that, then I can say, okay, they're this kind of volunteer, they're a newbie if they volunteered less than 10 hours. Then they're intermediate if they volunteered more than 10 hours, or maybe that's 100 hours, that level that you're creating, because you're creating the lookup field that's associated with this pull down. I don't know why my computer, I'm just going to cancel out of this.
Or if you go back to levels and click on the clog and edit object, maybe that would work straight.
Oh,
So
where?
if you go back to the levels, back to the, yeah, and then, are you in the levels here? Then on the clog, if you click on the cog, the setup cog.
Oh.
No, yep. And then edit object.
Oh, you know what? I didn't know that was there. So everybody see that? That's cool. So we'll see if it. But I'm not actually editing the levels object. I'm editing the account object or the contact object. Let me see if it works in a different org. I don't know if y'all have this this Chrome extension, but it's called Color Favicon, and I love it because I work it out of lots of different orgs, and it'll change the color of, and you see it has a S in it. If this was a developer sandbox, it would have a DX, and it picks, you can pick whatever color you want in the options of the Chrome extension.
Yeah, I need that. How do you, what's the name of that one?
It's called Color Favicon for Salesforce. So Mark, then let's go to contact.
Okay.
Just to be on the safe side. And I'm gonna search for it because this has a package that has lots of C. Oh, I accidentally clicked on contract. Fields and relationships. New. And this is going to be a lookup relationship to that level object. So related to, and we'll scroll down and find level. And we're going to call it donation level.
Hold on, let me grab that level. Okay.
And when you do this, you're actually pretty much always, if you're starting out, going to want to create 2 of these lookup fields. So I'm going to create one called donation level, and then I'm going to create one called previous donation level, because you saw that that was a choice there as I'm creating my levels.
So you call it donation level, the field label?
That's what I'm going to call it, because I'm going to, for my contact object, as a nonprofit, I have a volunteer. At my particular nonprofit in my head, my imaginary one, we have the volunteer module. So I'm going at the contact level, because that's where volunteer hours are tracked. I'm going to have volunteer level as well as a donation level.
Gotcha.
So I don't know in your org, Mark, the reason you weren't seeing.
For the chat, it said contacts 1. Is it supposed to be contacts 1 or just contact? In your previous page, after the donation level, it says contacts 1. Are we supposed to have contacts 1? Mine just says contacts.
I don't know why it did that. It might have something to do with how this is a sandbox for the CDC Foundation. So it might have something to do with some other customizations they have.
Okay.
So maybe maybe on the levels. Yeah, okay, there's already I already have a level field on the contact object. I've already done it on this org. And so that's why it's showing there like that. I don't have to put that child relationship list on the page layout of the level. So the actual donation level field, the actual lookup field, I am going to put on my contact layout, so it's easy to see. But then I'm not going to put it on the level layout, because I'm not going to go. I personally am not going to go to the bronze level and look at all the contacts related to it. Although you could, and then you might want to call it, because you can't have that child related list name. Actually, let's go ahead and put it on there so you can see what it's called. So I could call it donor contacts. So that is the, oh, whoops, it has to be like that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and, yes, I'll add it to the level layout and append it there. So now if I go back and I create a level using that new level field that I just created, which I can create the previous one too, but let's just call, let's call this bronze, or let's call it silver, since I already made a bronze, even though I didn't do it on the contact. I'm going to do total gifts this year rather than total household gifts this year, because this is just at the contact level. And you can see I had already previously, while I was testing this before we started, created a level just like I just did, a lookup field called volunteer level. And I'll call this donation level, and I won't have a previous level field. And then once I create this, I'll go ahead and...
Total gifts per year implies count, not amount.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Sorry. That's number of gifts this year.
Oh.
So total gifts this year is the amount.
No restriction of what kind of gift, just all the gifts added up.
So,
Okay.
and you can do, that's the other thing is if you're creating customizable roll-ups, you can do any kind of currency or number field for putting people at particular levels. If anybody wants to talk through a use case that they've thought of that would be cool for this.
No, I think my own confusion reveals a very interesting lesson for everybody. Don't try to do mathematical calculations on counts plus dollars, because that won't make any logical sense. But numerically, it might allow you to do that.
So would an example of total count be something like total in kind plus total cash donation?
Yeah.
Is that?
Say that
You could
again.
do-
Yeah, that's what I meant by type differences. Yeah. So the one she selected was any kind, every single possible type of dollar amount added together
Right.
for that constituent.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Sarah taught me that just now. But the number, where the first word of the field
Yeah.
name is number, would be
Yeah.
like they had 4 in-kind gifts and 6 one-time
Right.
gifts. When you add
Right.
those together, you get 10.
Right.
You know. That kind of-
Right. And so now you can see these related lists. So this level field, this relationship that I created between contacts and level, because I went ahead and added the related list to the parent object. I could go to the silver level and see all the households that I have related to this level, all the contacts, all the contacts donation level. I don't think that this is very useful, honestly, unless you're doing a report. I think it could get confusing to have it on the layout. So personally, I wouldn't worry about that, because the way that we are adding somebody to a level is either having an automation into that level through them reaching. So once I reach $250 as a contact, let's test it. Oh, or yeah, so this total gifts for this person is $18 for this year. So if we go to her donation, and if there's, I'm sorry, I'm not reading the chat. If anybody sees something in the chat that I should be aware of, please let me know.
Can you show how you got to this screen right here? I think I missed a step.
Oh, okay. So I'm just testing the level I just set up for the contact. So I'm going to an opportunity that already exists in this org, but you would create a new opportunity or a new contact donation, either by going to the opportunities tab and clicking on new, or straight from the contact or account. But in this case, I want to do it from the contact because of how I had that level that donation level that I just set up at silver. So just to remind myself, what did I set it up as? 250 to anything? I didn't put a max on it. So I'm going to go to Maggie's record or Margie's record, and I'm going to bump her up to that level because this is a sandbox. I can do that. So I'm going to change the amount on this to $250 and press save. And so now Salesforce is recalculating that roll up, and for whatever reason, I have too much going on in my computer. It wants to take forever. Maybe sharing the screen doesn't help either. I'll go ahead and read some of these chats while we're waiting. But what should happen is that particular field that I assigned, the gifts this year, total gifts this year, will bump up to the place where that level will be.
So, Sarah, have you already set up an automation, or how would it know that Maggie is within that plan, engagement plan, level group?
Hold on.
I guess that answers my question.
Okay.
Is the automation.
Well, this is hitting some other automation within this sandbox. So the way that it knows it is with Nonprofit Success Pack, there are pre-programmed what they call customizable roll-ups. So every time that Margie gives, down here, there's a customizable roll-up that automatically comes with Nonprofit Success Pack. Okay. And you can program more of these, like you can create more currency fields and create different criteria, but the total gifts will automatically update when that opportunity is set to closed won. So that automation is already pre-programmed in there, and the automation with the level is already pre-programmed in once you set it up. So you did have to set up the level to say enter this level when they hit 250, but then you don't have to write any process or anything to then enroll them in the engagement plan or anything like that. You just had to create the engagement plan, create the level, and now everything will just flow. You're not the one entering the opportunity data. You're just doing stuff in the background, but you don't have to build a process builder. You don't have to build a flow. You don't have to do anything like that.
Cool. Another question, please. When we were building the engagement plan, you can either put the opportunity, recurring donation, contact, case, or account. You can't put more than one, correct?
Correct.
But there was no field for the opportunity or recurring donation. Is that something that if we wanted to attach it to an opportunity, do we have to now go and create that?
I think that you might just have to put it on that page layout. So
because I went to the back room of mine. So it's on the page layouts, but it's not.
And I press new on engagement plan.
No, you're in a template.
And then, this is the template. But actually, sorry. So you're talking about here where we're.
No, the engagement plan. If you go into one of the templates that you created, one of the engagement templates.
Oh, wait, sorry. Let me go. If I go to this account, say, and I wanted to add an engagement plan and press new on the engagement plan, the opportunity and recurring donation are not options here. And that is because it's not on the page layout of the engagement plan object. So I would go to the object manager, go to engagement plan, page layouts.
Okay.
Engagement plan layout. I would let it think about it for a minute. And then you can see the fields that are available, opportunity and recurring donation. And this must be some kind of roll up, total EP, I guess that's engagement plan tasks.
Okay.
And so I'll just pull all the options on there. And so now when I go back to add it, those should be options. Probably just cached itself a little bit. It'll take a minute to process, but the other thing you'll want to check, I guess, is field level security. For whatever reason, if those fields are not accessible to a system admin, those would be the two things I'd check: page layout and then field level security.
Yeah. I was following along as you did it. Mine has appeared now. I can see the the opportunity and recording donations. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, well, has everybody created their engagement plan and level?
Yeah.
Yes. Has everybody tested it? Caitlin, did you test it?
Not yet.
No, let me do that right now. I had faith that it was going to work.
I'm way behind, so I'll have to catch up later.
I have to create an account because this is like totally new.
Sarah, for the account or for the contact, is there a specific page layout that you use from the ones provided by Npsp?
There what to use by the provided? Sorry.
The layouts, the page layouts.
Mm-hmm.
So there seem to be some that come with Npsp, like household and other ones, and
right.
I was wondering if I need to switch to one of them to see all the.
Well, what kind of did you create a household account? Are you not seeing the level field? Let's see. Does it come? It doesn't look like it comes by default. You have to, okay. So you have to add the level field to be able to see it from the page layout. So let's do that. Good call. So if I go to the object manager and go to account and household layout. So page layouts. And let me look at page layout assignment. Let's see which ones are assigned to. So it looks like the household lightning layout is what automates these days. They probably have to have both in there because they have people who downloaded Npsp prior to them having the lightning layout. And then I'll type in level. Oh, it is on there somewhere. I just missed it. Should be right there under donation information. Oh, it is right there. I did miss it. So it does automatically come on the household lightning layout. So if I added, if I had created this, see, I manually added this engagement plan to this person. I haven't added a $250 donation. And if I add that in, that level should automatically fill in.
Yeah, I think I need to create a new account. That's a household account, so maybe that's
right.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
So you, Volky?
Yeah, I think I've got myself all modeled. I'm not sure if I'm in the template or in the level. Okay.
Would you be able to repeat that?
So repeat what?
Repeat the household layout to get the levels on there.
Oh, I was wrong. It was there, and my level didn't work. So I need to figure out why it didn't automatically fill in. If there was something. This is active. Opportunity amount this year.
Is it one of those things that get that gets updated overnight?
Yeah,
Oh,
I had to
yeah.
force the batch process and then it worked. But this is an awesome demo, Sarah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, yes. So at 2 a.m. every day, the level will that will happen. So it won't be automatic. So it'll, I guess, if you put something 7 business days after they reach that level, then it might be, or after they enroll in that engagement plan, they might not get enrolled until the following day. So you might want to subtract 1 day from the actual day they want the task done, if that makes sense. So if I click on recalculate roll-ups, it will, is that what you did? Recalculate roll-ups, or did you have to do it from the Npsp settings?
I went to the Npsp settings and under the, I forget, it's like the bulk jobs or the batch
the bulk
jobs.
processing. So this is what we're talking about. If you go to the app launcher and Npsp settings, I'm sorry that my computer is being so slow, but that gives you time to work hands-on. This bulk data processing and level assignment batch. This is, if I go to my batch process settings, I can see that the roll-up size of the batch is 200, and I could select not to auto schedule the Npsp jobs, but it's going to automatically do it as a job for me every night at 2 a.m. unless I want to create my own Apex code. And who wants to do that? Not me. But I can run this level assignment batch from Npsp settings. And it's 100% complete because I barely have any data in my system. So if now I go back to accounts, it updated my level. There. And then it should have enrolled me into that engagement plan again. And I guess, so what it did, so we know, is even though, okay, it did. It enrolled me in the same engagement plan that I manually put myself into. So that's the one thing with automations. It did put me in the engagement plan twice. Now, let's experiment. If I delete myself from this engagement plan that I put myself into, and I refresh the page, does it delete the tasks, or are they already done and you'd have to delete to the question we had earlier, will it duplicate the tasks?
Should we take bets?
It will.
It's still
Yes, let's bet.
there.
So it did duplicate
Ooh,
the tasks.
okay. Mine isn't, I don't know what I did wrong, but my thing isn't working. my engagement plan isn't working. It's not assigning the task. So
it's not assigning any tasks when you enroll them in the engagement plan?
Well, not when I haven't manually enrolled them in the engagement plan, but when I did the opportunity to
okay, so then that was the step that we just did. We have to, otherwise you either have to wait till 2 a.m. the next day for it to process the level, or you have to run the batch from Npsp settings.
I did that and it's still not showing up.
Do a shift refresh. I guess. Caitlin, you're using a fresh org, right? That doesn't have any data in it. It just has
Yes, I am.
you know, whatever records you just created today.
Yes, I am.
Did you check if you added the engagement plan to the contact or account you're using, Caitlin?
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, it could be that you didn't add the engagement plan to that contact or
Well, no, she
account.
added an opportunity, so the engagement plan should have automatically. So she added an opportunity at the level that she set. So I would check and make sure that your donation roll-up field updated properly, and then make sure that the levels, the level filled in. Did the level not fill in?
It says secondary, tertiary, and primary.
So, I mean, does it look like my screen right now?
No.
Okay, so it doesn't have that on the account.
No.
And does it have the donations totals on the account?
Yeah, this like seems weird. It doesn't look like what I'm used to looking at.
Do you want to share your screen? Or we can just talk offline.
Sarah,
later?
did you add that?
What, Bulky?
Sorry. I can see on your screen you have your level. I don't have that. Is it just from the page layout you dragged it and put it on there? Where your level and previous level?
This is on the account under donation
Yeah,
information.
I'm on the
I did
account.
not add it. It was already there.
Yeah, mine doesn't have that. That's what's weird about this, is mine doesn't have that.
I don't have that either.
Then I would
Mine
go
neither.
So I would go to the account and page layouts and click on page layout assignment and just make sure that you edit the layout that you are assigned as a system admin. So make sure that it is whichever,
How long have you had that org, Caitlin? Was it
5 minutes.
Was it this morning?
Yeah, I created it
Just
before.
made it.
Yeah, same with me, and it looks the same as yours.
Oh, it looks
Yeah.
the same as mine or same as Caitlin's?
Same as Caitlin's. And yeah, the levels say primary, secondary. Doesn't even give me my level, bronze, that I created.
Oh,
I called that full donation.
no. So does it have, so the level field should be a lookup relationship. So yeah, maybe the newer orgs.
Yeah, I'm thinking something was up.
They did the Npsp
Yep.
changed possibly.
And they may have levels in there already. Primary, secondary, or like shells.
I'm going to stop my share. Can you share your screen, Mark or Caitlin?
Okay. Sarah, I've just added my levels from the page layout. It was on the organization lightning layout. So I've now added it, but it didn't populate. It didn't pre-populate the information.
Shouldn't it be household lightning layout? Because you're creating household accounts, not an organization account.
Oh no, the account I used in my example was an organization account. I used the company, not a household.
This is not meant for organizations. This is really meant for households. So I mean, I guess you could put it on an organization.
Let me share my screen with you, Sarah, real quick, so you can like take a look at this. Can you enable it?
Mine doesn't have households.
Yeah, mine doesn't have households either.
I had one that did, but I couldn't get in because I haven't been in there in like a month, and my password was gone.
So Caitlin, did you install the Npsp on top of the org?
Mm-hmm. I did. Yeah, that's why this is really weird.
I just shared. I mean, I changed it so you could share your screen. Okay, so you click on details and scroll down. Keep scrolling.
That's as far as it goes.
That's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So then go to setup and go to the account object.
Your page layouts.
Page layouts.
Okay.
Click on page layout assignment.
Sorry.
And then it looks like that's the problem. Okay, so I missed a step in my instructions. Because you downloaded the developer org and then downloaded the NPSP, you need to change the assignment to the household lightning layout that already exists. So if you click on edit assignment and go, yeah, and then scroll down.
Oh yeah, I need to click it, right?
Yeah, you have to make it be in purple.
Sarah, could you back up a couple steps?
On the household account one.
Okay, there we
On
go.
that record.
Yeah. Okay, and click save.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
So then just double check that it did it. Scroll down. No, it doesn't look like it did it. So edit assignment.
You have to click the item in the table.
So don't do that first. Click it first.
Oh, click it first.
Uh-huh. So no, click on it. Yeah.
And now change it.
And then yeah, scroll up and change it. And press save.
Okay. Yay, it worked. Okay, cool.
Okay. So now if you go back and refresh into household.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. This looks right.
Okay, and then you click on details.
Yeah, that looks definitely right.
Okay, yay.
Yay. Okay, because I was working with the nonprofit recently. That's why I was like, this looks like something's off. But okay, now I understand it was the layout. Okay.
And then did your level add? Under donation information? Okay, so they didn't automatically put the levels on your page layout. So now I'd go back to the account and make sure level is on your page layout. Okay, Denise, thank you. I'm glad it was helpful. I hope it's helpful to other people. Yeah, we can wrap up soon.
Okay.
Type in level.
I did type in level.
Oh. All right, go to fields and relationships, I guess. But you were able to create a level, right?
Yeah, I did.
Type in level into the quick find. Did you create it from contact or account? Like, did you create the lookup field like I did?
Yeah, I created it from contact.
Oh, okay, that's why. So,
I created contact as well.
So the new NPSP pack apparently does not include that level and previous level lookup field on the account automatically. You have to do that yourself. You have to create the lookup fields anytime you're going to do it, is what it looks like. Other than it looked like there was one called last membership level. So I would then go to your contact page layout and make sure that that's correct and see if you're.
You want me to go to it?
Do what you just did with the account.
Oh, okay.
and go to the contact, and because you won't, the page layout, the page layout will not be the right one because it'll be your default developer setting one. So click on page layout assignment.
Okay, gotcha. So edit.
Edit. And then go back to the Caitlin's contact record.
Okay.
For the page layout assignment, which one are we selecting? Or which one did she select? I must have missed that.
She selected for the contact, she selected contact layout installed package in PSP or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Nonprofit success pack. Yep.
this looks correct.
And then if you click on details and scroll down. So maybe that level field is not, did you add it to the page layouts? When
No.
you created the level field? Okay, so that's why it's not there. So if you go back to the contact object and make sure that it's on the page layout, you probably, or you can build a report to see if it's there. Either way.
Okay.
I had to drag mine in on the page layout.
So Sarah, is it fair to say first we would get our page layouts and our level fields in order, then we would create an engagement plan, then we would add the tasks, then, sorry, I'm not remembering the next step.
Yes, so I did it in a different order because I just assumed that the NPSP pack came with the level and previous level on the account.
On the page layout, right?
To start. But yes, that's what you'll want to do is create the, you can get that straight first, is make sure your page layouts are right and put the levels on. And I would make sort of like how I had last week with the draw.io, where I was kind of mapping out what I wanted to do with the volunteer planning. So I just kind of, I did it on a document first, so I can do like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3. That's really helpful. But as long as you have the level fields there to be able to select that look up to the level object, then you can create that level record.
It has it. There it is.
Okay.
Yay. Okay.
So now go back to your contact and see if it's
there.
There once you save that. Do you feel prepared for your exam, Caitlin?
Yeah, that training on Friday was really helpful. It was really helpful. There it is. Okay.
There it is. So it didn't automate.
It says this.
Is that what it's supposed to be? The primary, tertiary? I thought it's supposed to be what we set up.
That's confusing. No, that's different. I don't know why they did that. They created a new field on Npsp. Then you're confused because level is an object, not a pick list. So
I have a field here. Yeah. Caitlin, do you have a field there that says given level in your contacts? Because that's where I went to and I saw the bronze. It says given level. It's in the under contact details. So if you keep going up.
Okay.
Yeah, she was just on it. It's confusing.
Oh,
yeah, because that's where mine, yeah,
You were just pulling it down where it said primary, tertiary, secondary.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's there. That's silly. When you're getting those layouts set up. So I will post this in, I'll post a recording of this obviously in the LinkedIn group, but I'll also, to Pamela's point, I'll write down the steps. Like we should get the layout set first, then create your engagement plan with your tasks, then the levels. And again, those worksheets that I gave you are just really helpful for talking to the stakeholders who are making this decision. If you work at a nonprofit and you are the development person and the marketing person too, then, and you're the system admin, then obviously you can just create make those decisions.
So I called the level field donation because I know earlier we could change the name. So I just was playing around and called it donation, which now I realize is super confusing. But if you look in this field that I created, it says bronze right here.
Right, you can select it manually, but it should automatic based on what you did. If in the Npsp settings you clicked on recalculate roll-ups manually for level reassignment, not recalculate roll-ups, donation roll-ups from the actual contact record, but if you went to Npsp settings and then clicked on batch process,
I did.
Level assignment batch, and then run batch, that's when it should have automated the level into the contact record, which would then enroll them automatically in the engagement plan.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That all makes sense. It's just weird that it's not working. Okay.
Question, Sarah. Same thing. Like you said, it's supposed to automatically populate, isn't it? Because mine is a lookup field, the level, but it didn't automatically populate. I have to go in there and manually put in the level.
Yeah, same here with me.
Now, did you do that thing where I talked about going to the Npsp settings and clicking on run on the batch process with the levels?
No, maybe because I saw my tag. Okay.
Then I would log in, either do that now, and I can share my screen and show how to do that again, or I would wait till tomorrow and see if it does.
No, share your screen. I want to see it now. now. Okay. So it was the Npsp setting.
Right. So if you go to the app launcher and type in Npsp settings.
Yep.
And click on that, it should bring it up in a separate tab like this.
Why does it take a
and
while
if you
to
want,
get...
for your view, you could add it to the nav bar. If you're, I know you work with a nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I'm going to click on bulk data processes.
Yeah.
Level assignment batch.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to click on run batch. And if you don't have a lot of records in your system, it's not going to take that long.
Complete.
And then you should be going back to your account or your contact, depending on where you put that, and you'd be able to see that it enrolled me into the engagement plan up here, and it set me up that level.
It worked. Yay!
Okay. Well, this was helpful to me too, because now I know what.
But it didn't pre-populate the previous given level, or do we manually go in and put that?
But you didn't have a previous giving level. This is the first level that this person is at. So if you had programmed more than one level, so say you programmed the bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, and say the silver started at 500. Once that person reaches the $500 amount, then they'll automatically bump up to the silver level, and the previous level will automatically be bronze. So you don't even have to program that in. Salesforce just knows because of the way you set up the levels in the level itself in the first place. So at your lowest level, you probably won't have a previous level, but then at silver, you'd say, okay, so if I went to my levels fields right here, and see, I only have one in this org. If I wanted to create a silver, actually, I take that back. When I'm programming the level, I will probably always select because what this is saying is which level field, which lookup field on my object do I want to associate with this level. And so unless you did have a level previously, then that won't fill in. So it might actually say bronze twice if the year changes, and I give $250 this month, and then next month I give $250 again, and that field changes, or say I gave $300, so the field changed. I'm not sure, but it might put you at the bronze level current and the bronze level previous. And I don't know what happens, so I'll ask this too, is if you are at the bronze level, and then the year turns over and the gifts this year goes to 0, I don't think it takes you out of that level, but maybe it does. So we need to Google that too. If that makes sense.
Or could it, or could it have to do with the targets? Because I did create 3 levels: bronze, silver, gold, platinum for the account target. So of course I put a huge amount. So when we did the batch running, it automatically put that person in the platinum. So previous should be gold.
You put a huge amount.
Of course I'll put a huge amount. Yeah, so the previous level should have been gold, but it didn't pre-populate.
Right, that's because the person wasn't in gold before.
But because I set it up.
The batch and the person was in gold, and then you gave another donation and run the batch again, that's when it would click in previous level. It doesn't know that gold comes before platinum, because it'll knock you back down. Say if I set it to this year, that's why I would, if I was really doing this for a nonprofit and it was me as a development associate, I would want one lookup field to the levels that was for all time donations and one for this year. And then you could see if it was for the this year one, my previous level might have been gold, and then I give $50 at the beginning of the year, and then I bump down to bronze, and my previous level is gold. So then you could pull a report like that. You could say previous level equals silver, gold, platinum, current level equals bronze or nothing. Then, but that's the question I have is, does it automatically bump you down when that roll up where the year changes over and I go back to 0? Does it take me out? But even if it took me out, I would still have the engagement plan tasks. I think that's how it would work, but we will test.
So it's really weird is that I even assigned the engagement plan to my contact, but the tasks still aren't showing up.
you assigned the engagement plan directly to the contact manually
Yes.
and the tasks? Who'd you assign the task to? You?
Me, yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay, hold on. No, I'm so confused. I'm going.
Do you want to share your screen again, Caitlin, or?
I'll just talk to you about it later.
Okay.
I don't want to take up too much time.
Right,
Well,
Sarah, remember
we're
when
at the end. We've just been troubleshooting. I hope this was helpful for everyone. And I do have a more difficult task for those who wanted to learn flows. I'll take a poll in the LinkedIn group to see if you want to do that as a hands-on session, because I do have an example of that to do.
Yes.
Yes, I would like to.
Yeah.
I heard that's like the new direction Salesforce is going. Flows.
Right. So the example will be, just to preview it, is a lot of times when you're building reports in Npsp, they do have roll-ups of last gift date and first gift date and things like that. But if you wanted to report on the first opportunity and fields from that first opportunity that person had given, you'd actually need a lookup field to an opportunity called first opportunity. So I'm going to show you those examples because I think that would be helpful for reporting for a lot of nonprofits. I might do it for CDC Foundation, but I just have to keep up with what they're asking me to do in the first place. So maybe I'll do it in the sandbox for them as I present, but I will learn my lesson this time and do the instructions that I said to make sure everything's looking the same. Apologize for that, but just keep me
remember when you said earlier, engagement plans.
Hmm?
Engagement plans for organizations. I did create an engagement plan for an organization. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I think you could do that. I didn't have that use case in my head.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I did one and I can see all the tasks all outlined there. Yeah,
Okay,
it's an
good.
organization. So, yeah.
That makes sense.
Because I just wanted to test it to make sure it's not just, yes. Yeah, it worked.
Right, and
I have all the
don't know what
tasks
they
there.
come with out of the box with the organization layout these days with Npsp SuccessFactors. Clearly, I didn't know what it comes out of the box with now, but
let's see.
well, again, I know people are hopping off, so thank you all for joining and participating, and I definitely hope this was helpful. It looks like it was for a lot of people, and just
yeah, it was. Thank you.